Welcome back, True Seeker. It is April 18th, 2024. It's my dad's birthday today, so happy birthday to Dad, and happy birthday to everyone in the world whose birthday it is. But sadly, in the headlines, big star in the music world, Dickey Betts of the Allman Brothers, dead at 80. I want to talk about his death today in light of Aleister Crowley, who has a lot of influence in the world of rock and roll. And this date, 418, and why it matters that the Allman Brothers' first record came out in 69, meaning it turns 55 years old this year. There's a relationship with the numbers 55 and 80, as we've talked about many times. So we'll get to that. Also, want to talk about the death that was in the news yesterday, breaking news yesterday. Young football star, NFL draft hopeful. NFL draft just days away, but instead of being in the NFL, he's being reported dead. And there's not really any explanation for why he's dead at 25. But what I'm going to get to is what it looks like is behind the death of this 25-year-old man in New York. At the time, all eyes are on Donald Trump and his court trial in New York. Get to how these things are more than likely related and not a coincidence based on the history of what we've been documenting for a decade with regards to the NFL and Trump and rituals and numbers like 25, like the Falcons giving up the 25-point lead on 2-5 just days after Trump took office, and talked about how much he wanted to see the Patriots win because he was a big fan of Belichick and Brady. But yeah, we're going to talk about Trump's jury getting sworn in today. I was just going back through my old notes about today's date sequence, 18-4, like 184, and some documentations from the past. We're going to go back to something that happened on the 184th day of the Jesuit Ignatian year, what was in the news that day that was 184, and how it factors in with today. And then I also just caught that one of CNN's stories today is a video. Sometimes if you're familiar with CNN's page, sometimes they have written stories. Sometimes they just have stories that you watch. They have a 2-minute and 1-second story on Tony Soprano, an alternate theory to what happened at the end of the hit show The Sopranos on Jesuit-run HBO. Of course, if you're new here, the Jesuits love that number 201. And yes, HBO was founded by a Jesuit. We're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, who's the first to live in Suite 201. And of course, Tony Soprano, or James Gandolfini, died 99 days after Pope Francis became the first Jesuit Pope, going with The Sopranos, the show coming out in 99. And the Gematria of Sopranos is 99, whereas the Jesuit order is 201. And again, Order of Illuminati is 201, created by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, who died in history 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. And the day it was established, May 1st, 1776, the Illuminati, right before the American Revolution, that date had 99 numerology. But yeah, we're gonna look a little bit more at this Tony Soprano story today, right after the death of Francis Ford Coppola's wife. Big gangster, Hollywood series, The Godfather, The Sopranos. I gotta recommend people check out this video by Zenith of the Alpha. If you guys don't know Zenith, he started calling TFR back in 2016, and he'd call in almost every week with a really interesting observation. I kept saying, you got to make a YouTube channel. You got to make a YouTube channel. He's had a YouTube channel now for years, and it doesn't get the views it deserves. And yeah, he has a really great video on Aleister Crowley, his book that has 418 on the cover, and how this number 418 connects with so much in Aleister Crowley's life, including his relationship with Ozzy Osbourne, who has the song about him, Mr. Crowley. And we've talked about the recording of that song, just how occult the ritual was. If you don't know that Ozzy Osbourne song, Mr. Crowley, maybe read the lyrics to it. But of course, Ozzy Osbourne's another one of those 201s. And Metallica was touring with Ozzy Osbourne when Cliff Burton died, the bassist for Metallica, on the Jesuit anniversary, September 27th. And we all remember what they did with Meatloaf in tribute to Ozzy Osbourne the other year on the old 201 day. But anyway, this video on 418 and Aleister Crowley is literally mind-blowing. And it's really great research. And yeah, you got to watch it. Some people in this world are using the gematria code, making videos, and be better off if they didn't. And then there's people like him who do it. And sometimes Zenith will make a video that I'm like, come on, man. I mean, you can do better than that. But a lot of the times his videos are absolutely awesome. So, and this is one of those. Uh, so yeah, just in light of today being 418. And again, what's weird is Crow Triple Seven, when he first started his podcast, I was on his podcast all the time, and then he just him and I just stopped talking. But he invited me not long ago to do a show today on April 18th, 418. And in hindsight, I probably could have ended up doing it, but I wasn't onto this Aleister Crowley 418 thing until I saw Zenith's video the other week. And I'm like, wait a minute, Crow is asking me on this big Crowley date to do the show. That's kind of weird. So I'm going to have to ask. I'm doing the show with him May 3rd. I told him I didn't want to do it today because at the time I said that's my dad's birthday and he might want to do something, but my dad just mostly wants to lay low today. Doesn't want to celebrate his birthday. So anyway, Dickey Betts, dead at 80. And if you guys are new here, again, it might sound loopy the first time you hear it, but when you start to think about how we're on a 52-week calendar named after the Pope, and the word Pope equals 52 in Gematria, you learn this little ABC 1, 2, 3 thing. You start to realize how day after day major rituals are structured in the world, and they are coordinated with the Pope. Talking about this almost day in and day out. And Dickey Betts, notice in the ABC 123 cipher, his name is 123, announced dead 123 days after the Pope's birthday. It goes with that phrase, all roads lead to Rome. Dickey Betts' full name is Forrest Richard Betts. And that name, there's four base ciphers if you're new here. The alphabetic order, A is 1 up to Z is 26. That's where Dickey Betts is 123. There's the reverse alphabetic order. Z is 1 back to A is 26. And then there's both orders applying numerology. Forrest Richard Betts is 123 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse and apply numerology. F, to get the, like if you know that F is the sixth letter, to figure it out what it is in reverse quickly, you can just count in reverse, or you can take 27, the number 27 minus what it normally is in the alphabetic order. F is the sixth letter, so 27 minus 6 is 21. F is 21 in reverse. The numerology of 21 is 2 plus 1 is 3, so F becomes 3 in this cipher. O is the 15th letter using the alphabet, so 27 minus 15 is 12. O is 12 in reverse. The numerology of 12 is 1 plus 2 is 3. R is the 18th letter, so in reverse it's 27 minus 18 is 9, so R is 9. So you see, that's where these values are coming from. Reverse alphabetic order, numerology applied. His full name is 123. Happens to be dead 123 days before the Pope's birthday. Now, he died on his 129th day of his age, and 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. Remember, Georgetown equals 129. The Jesuit order equals 201. Georgetown's the first Jesuit university in the U.S. These numbers come together a lot. 129, 201. Catholic Pope equals 201, like the Jesuit order, like Jorge Mario Bergoglio equals 201. That is Pope Francis, the first publicly Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. So, you think about that. The Allman Brothers' first album, the Allman Brothers Band, self-titled, released November of 69. It will turn 55 later this year. It's 54 years old and change. If you're new here, Jesuit order is 54. Their headquarters is at Building 54. Diddy's having a really bad year at age 54, being prosecuted by the same Jesuit prosecutor who went to Georgetown, who sentenced R. Kelly to prison at age 54. And again, Georgetown was founded by John Carroll, whose name equals 54 when he was 54 years old. But certain numbers very important to the Jesuits. Jesuit order is 54. The Jesuit order is 69. This album is 69, coming up on the 55th anniversary, dead at 80. Satan has that gematria 55 forwards, 80 in reverse. And don't forget when Bob Dylan went on 60 Minutes and explained to Ed Bradley how if you want to make it in show business, you got to sell your soul. And Ed Bradley laughed about to who, and they both laughed when he said, "Oh, you know, the chief commander of this world." Again, so many different references in this world that most people have heard one way or another at a relatively young age about this concept of selling your soul to an evil entity, the Satan, devil, whatever you want, whatever another spiritual I might call it, for fame and fortune in this world. It's obvious something like this is going on in showbiz, because we just see this pattern of your number is up. and how it's constantly connected to, again, the source, which is the church, in terms of the calendar we're on and this language that makes all this stuff line up day after day. He's also dead 20 years after their last album was put out, One Way Out, released March 23rd, 2004. Just turned 20 years old. Remember the words death, time, cross, rock, as in rock music. They all equal 20. It's important that time starts with T. With numerology applied, time is 20. With just the alphabetic order, T is the 20th letter of the alphabet. And a T is a cross. And again, the cross is symbolic of death. Also, notice that first album was ranked 188th in the US that year. We see these numbers come together a lot. 188 and 80 come together a good amount. This man's dead at 80, Bavarian Illuminati, again, founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. This is what the name was before he changed it to Order of Illuminati. 188 and 80. And remember, the US dollar bill denominations, the 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100, you add them together, they add up to 188. So that album just happened to be 188th. Now dead at 80, so they say. But yeah, again, if things like this happened, once a year, and I was coming on once a year to say like, oh, see, they synced it up with the Pope, I could understand why people would be like, oh, that's dumb. Come on, just like one thing in the whole year. But we're showing this stuff day after day, you guys. Day after day. And again, it logically makes sense. They gave us the calendar and the language. Why wouldn't it be synced with them? Who else would be doing it? AJ Simon, dead at dead at 25, announced dead on the 108th day of the leap year. AJ Simon, 108. Again, the song Gematria, the killing name. Gematria means geometry and language. 108 is a special number in spirituality. The word geometry is 108 forwards and backwards. If you look into it, you'll find that they sew 108 game balls for the Super Bowl. Each team gets 54. The football, the shape of it is the Vesica Pisces, which is important in sacred geometry. Geometry, gematria, mathematics, ritual. Numbers symbolic to the shape. He was a draft hopeful. Instead, he's dead. And we talk about this each year as the draft approaches. There's all kinds of weird, suspicious deaths. This is like the NFL showing that nobody really wanted to have this guy on their team. He's expendable. He's worthy of the ritual. His name was, and I don't mean to mispronounce his name, but his name was Amitral Simon. And again, he might have never been aware that his name gematria is this, but this could be part of the reason he gets targeted for the ritual as well. His name has the numbers that are so important to these Jesuits. 54, fateful number. Again and again. And again, big Jesuit number. Remember, Elvis Presley had his first concert in 54. The year that the Golden Globes, the best actor goes to the man who portrayed Elvis. Golden Globes, by the way, equals 54 forwards and backwards. The word sun equals 54. The sun is a Golden Globe because in alchemy, the sun is gold. But right after the Golden Globes, where best actor goes to the guy who portrayed Elvis, Elvis's daughter's dead at age 54 on 54 date numerology. So Trump is a member of the Jesuit order. And remember, Trump posed with the Pope on the 144th day of the year in 2017. And then this year, the election's 144 days after Trump's birthday on the very special Jesuit Day, Guy Fawkes Day. Notice this football player went to the University of Albany in New York, which equals 248. And Trump right now is in New York in Manhattan Criminal Court, which equals 248. And the Illuminati is about to turn 248 on May 1st. And the U.S. is about to turn 248 on July 4th. And again, this 248 thing with Trump is huge too. That same Zenith of the Alpha, he's done excellent work on Trump and numbers that are very special to him for many years, including Trump and 248. He's been talking about this since before what happened last year on August 24th with the Trump mugshot that everyone was so infatuated with that the news was just shoving down our throats. But look at this. August 24th, the day of the Trump mugshot in Atlanta. It says, August 24th, the International Astronomical Union voted to strictly define a planet which ultimately downgraded Pluto from the 9th planet from the sun to a dwarf planet. Got demoted. Pluto, 24/8, many years later. Trump's in court on this date. Now, notice Pluto takes an orbital period of 248 Earth years. So, this is another Pluto thing, 248, which got demoted as a planet. The title President Donald Trump equates to 248. From Trump's election, the election date in 2016, November 8, 2016, to his photo in Atlanta, the mugshot, was 2,480 days later, that 248 sequence. And GoldenEye Decode pointed out that also 248 years is 90,560 Earth days. And from the nation's birthday, July 4th, 1776, to Trump's birthday this year, we're almost there, is 90,560 days. That's going to happen while the Illuminati's 248 and just days before the U.S. turns 248. But you see how these days connect to Pluto's orbital cycle and how it syncs with Trump's upcoming 78th birthday. Remember why 78 is so special? These parallels with Cleveland and Kennedy, both 78 surnames, like Jesuit 78, like Scottish Rite 78, like there's 78 cards in the tarot deck, like the top cards are Trump cards. There's so much cleverness in this character and this script and what we're living out and why these numbers keep unfolding. But Pluto is the root word of plutocracy, which is rich by the ruling class. Donald Trump has ancestors that have been members of the federal government, from the FBI to the Attorney General's office. Donald Trump has family that have been part of this federal government before the time of Reagan, in the time of Reagan. Do you remember that Donald Trump's sister died on Aleister Crowley's death anniversary? Or hold on. I want to make sure I'm not misspeaking. Hold on. I could be confusing another federal government employee from Reagan with the Aleister Crowley ritual. But I want to go back to Trump's sister. Remember, his brother died the other year on August 15th, Jesuit order's birthday. If I search Trump's sister, it should pull it up. But Trump's sister died the day that Donald Trump Jr. appeared in court. Oh, yeah, that's right. Her name was Marion. Hold on. Trump's sister, who died, had this name that was like Marion Barry, who was a split-term mayor in D.C. Or hold on, this is the wrong post. That's the one on Marion Barry parallel. Mary Ann Trump Barry. Okay, she died November 13th. It was the other former member of Reagan's administration who died on Aleister Crowley's death anniversary. But Mary Ann Barry. And hold on. This was November 13th, 2023. Oh, yeah, we were talking about what happened to Prince that year, the year of that election. Prince died 201 days before the election that year. He had the song Black Donald Trump. That's right. Prince died 54 days before Trump's birthday, too. Same stuff over and over. But yeah, Trump's sister died. There was a lot to it. It was the day that Donald Trump Jr. was in court. And let's not forget that Donald Trump Jr. was born on the 201st day of Trump's age, and Trump buried his mom in that Jesuit Ignatian year on the 201st day of the year. Again, she died exactly 60 weeks into it, like Donald Trump equals 60, like it's the 60th election. Donald Trump Jr. in court at age 45. His mom died 45 years after the marriage to her father. Them showing all these purple lights, just the ongoing history of the royalty connection with Trump and his family. But yeah, this is an older post if you want to go back and read it. There's a lot of information here. His brother and his sister died 38 months apart. Big death number. DC on the 38th parallel north. Yeah, so anyhow, Trump's had members, and he's not some outsider. He's not some political outsider. I mean, here, let me ask you: how many members of your family have have ever had an appointment with a president, worked in their legal office, been a lawyer for them? You have anyone in your family that had that kind of office? I mean, Trump has a few people. Trump had the FBI agent uncle who edited, or not edited, but audited uh, Nikola Tesla's apartment when he died. That just happened to be Trump's family member who was in charge of that. And now him and Elon Musk, people think they're the white hats when they're these Jesuit puppets on the most obvious strings. Elon Musk offering $54 per share for Twitter on 14/4 when Jesuit orders 54 and 144. I mean, same stuff over and over. But yeah, this 248 thing is huge. And again, the country's about to turn 248. The Illuminati, Donald Trump, their guy. Donald Trump equals 48, like Illuminati, like Hollywood. I got it right here. Just the same point. Donald Trump in the Illuminati card game, his face on the Enough is Enough card. Yeah, there's a lot to this. So if you want to go back and look at what we were looking at earlier this year, there's a lot. There's a lot of information here. I need to revisit this post. There's a lot to it. So yeah, that's why I don't think it's an accident seeing that this young man's dead, as all eyes are on Trump, and then the name of his universe. I mean, dead on the 108th day of the year. First of all, Ritual, that song Gematria, the Killing Name by Slipknot. More familiar numbers, just find them everywhere. Those Jesuit numbers. Again, if you guys are new here, there's a reason that RFK died at 1:44 a.m. and his son got in this race, RFK Jr., 144 days after the Superior General's birthday on the 5th day of the 4th month, when his dad died at Ambassador Hotel, which equals 54, and his uncle, JFK, died in Dealey Plaza, which equals 54, and JFK died 144 days from meeting with the Pope. But now RFK Jr. doing a similar ritual. The election 144 days after Trump's birthday. It's going to be 78. Kennedy equals 78. Cleveland equals 78. The only split term president. How these storylines are intersecting and all coming together. How history is being recontrived at this moment by the same people who gave us the calendar and the language. But yeah, University of Albany, 248. Manhattan Criminal Court, where Trump is, 248. Did I mention he's dead at 25 and you got all these 25 words? Trump, his surname Simon, Devil, Vatican, Pope, all these things are related. They're not an accident. There's a reason that the winning score this year in the first ever Super Bowl on the Vatican's birthday was 25. Super Bowl 51 fell 51 days after the Pope's birthday, and he blessed that Super Bowl. And Trump said he was cheering for the Patriots, and you get a 25-point comeback over the Falcons on 2-5 in the year they moved the touchback to 25 yards by the Patriots. And it was Boston College Jesuit-educated Matt Ryan who gave up that lead to Brady, playing for the Boston team. Very Catholic city. But Falcons 25, like death is also 25. Now Simon's dead at 25 while Trump's in court. Albany, New York, 58. Donald Trump, the winner of the 58th presidential election, announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower. This death was 58 days before Trump's June 14th birthday. Remember, Oprah Winfrey equals 58. Asked Trump about being president someday back in 88 when Trump also equals 88. We all know what they just did at the golf course that opened while Trump was 58, and then the mega quake with the epicenter on Trump's golf course exactly 88 weeks after the first pro tournament there, won by Henrik Stenson. And the earthquake was the day of Henrik Stenson's 48th birthday when it was a 4.8, and Donald Trump's 48. Again, nuclear weapons 58. Trump was 58 when they put in that course. That earthquake was the first of the last 271 days of the year, which is the 58th prime. But yes, this young man's dead 58 days before Trump's birthday. The Apprentice, the first degree of Freemasonry is the honored apprentice. Freemasonry equals 58, like secret society, like Solomon's Temple, like Rosicrucian. All these things are related. King James was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian, died at age 58. Biblical 58. Isn't it sad, you guys? If we've been right about what we've been showing for all these years, think about how many bodies there are like this, how many young people on the ground there have been over the years. How many stories have we done like this that we've forgotten? I've covered so many stories like this, and it's just like, and I know I've missed a bunch too. I'm sure there was a bunch that I didn't even see. But yeah, like how can there not be more people questioning what is going on in the world? This guy's on the verge of his NFL dream and he's just dead. No explanation. Forever a Great Dane. I almost feel like they're calling him a dog. And here's the thing, the day he died in a non-leap year, it's the 107th day of the year. So when they typically remember his death anniversary on April 17th, it'll be the 107th day of the year. Albany equals 107. But again, it makes sense for him to die in a leap year on the 108th day when AJ Simon's 108. So RIP to him. All right, now this thing about Trump and his jury getting fully sworn in on day 3 on 18/4. I want to go back to the 184th day of the Jesuit Ignatian year when an article let us know that Biden's doctor said he weighed 184 pounds. The reason I documented this is because once upon a time, there was an article came out that Donald Trump weighed 239 pounds. And it was like, why do people need to know this? But then when we started looking at it, we're like, wait a minute, I see what they're doing. It helped us figure out the Super Bowl in week 3. Again, Trump took on the NFL protesters of the flag on the 23rd day of the 9th month, 23/9, like how he'd been reported to weigh 239 pounds. And the thing about Trump is his birthday is June 14th, which is the same day as the U.S. flag. And when he took office, the flag was 239 years old. And then Colin Kaepernick was the first player to protest the flag on the 239th day of the year. And then months later, Trump's taken on the protesters on 23/9, or not even months later, but about a month later. About 1 month later, he's taking on the protesters, and we're going, that's it. The connection with the Bay Area and Philly, and the flag was sewn in Philly at 239 Arch Street. So you got Philadelphia versus Tom Brady from the Bay playing on the Patriots with the flag on his helmet. And we didn't blink at all. We just rode that narrative all the way into the Super Bowl. We didn't even worry when Carson Wentz got hurt. We saw how Nick Foles made even more sense to be the guy because Nick Foles' initials are N14 and F6, and that's the flag's birthday and Trump's 14-6. And then again, the national anthem was adopted 86 years before that season. Zach Ertz wore number 86. He caught the game-winning touchdown 86 days after his birthday. I was torn on who would win that Super Bowl. We saw how they would meet in week 3, but I was torn on who'd win it. I said if the Eagles win, watch Zach Ertz will have the winning touchdown. He absolutely did in a big 86 ritual. Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem. His bridge came down on the 86th day of the year on Nancy Pelosi's birthday, who shook hands with the leader of Singapore on Francis Scott Key's birthday anniversary 86 weeks earlier. And now we just saw what happened with the Golden Gate Bridge on Paul Pelosi's birthday. Her husband, and again, her father, who died at 84, had the same birthday as Francis Scott Key. And then Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota, they had the bridge collapse on Francis Scott Key's birthday. And she was all, again, you guys, the point I'm making is rituals everywhere, numbers at the center, and paying attention to these numbers and documenting when you see something that stands out. Like I had to document this. Today I had to go back and look at things I've documented with 184. There's more, but I just want to make this point. On the 184th day of the Jesuit Ignatian year, Biden's doctor says he weighs 184 pounds, and it was his last day of being 78. Now you have Trump's jury being sworn in 18/4, synced up with his upcoming 78th birthday. But by the way, look at the doctor who gave us, again, this is a ritual synced up with the Jesuit Ignatian year, and the doctor's name is Dr. Kevin O'Connor, which equals 78. It was the last day of Biden's 78th day of his age, like Jesuit's 78. And again, Trump's about to turn 78. But no, it's Dr. Kevin O'Connor, 177-201, just like the Jesuit order. Captain Tom, knighted on 17/7, dead 201 days later. On and on. Just all these rituals that bring these numbers together all the time. Klaus Schwab, 177. Main host of event 201. Dr. Kevin O'Connor also got that 75. All kinds of, all these numbers are very Catholic and Jesuit. Catholic Church, 75. Roman Catholic, 75. Ignatius of Loyola, 75. The founder of the Jesuits. But from the start of the Jesuit Ignatian year to that story, May 20th, 184th day in. and federal government equals 184. They're telling you the leader of the federal government weighs 184 pounds on the 184th day of the Jesuit Nation year. Again, sometimes I look at the riddles they drop and I'm like, I don't get it. So where's it going? You just got to document and keep watching. It's like, okay, now we're getting to this controversial trial. The jury's being sworn in on 18-4. Okay, they're going somewhere with this. Trump's about to turn 78. This is back when Biden was 78. Yeah, so again, you can always go back through these older posts too, search, put more pieces together. Sometimes I do my best research when I spend a lot of time going through my older work. So I'm just like, wow, look at what I know now and how these things connect even more. But 184 is a federal government signature number, and this trial having an impact on their planned federal election for 2024. Remember, Trump announces from the 58-story Trump Tower wins the 58th election when it was foretold many years ago by Miss 58, Oprah Winfrey. Joe Biden becomes the nation's second Catholic president. The first died at 46. The second was number 46, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday when Catholics 46. Now you got Trump giving up his ex-wife 60 weeks into the Jesuit Nation year, trying to do what no one's done since Grover Cleveland, have a split term. He was number 22 and 24. Trump announced at the end of 2022 that he's running for 24. Cleveland equals 78, like Kennedy. Ronald Reagan survived an assassination. You got parallels with all these people, all these historical narratives. The point is to see the way the game is being played. Look at the. Oh, hold on. Is this the right post? I switched over to another post. I wanted to read about Trump's New York. Here, just the mainstream information that we get, you guys. Here, if you read the article about the jury being sworn in, this is what you get to learn. So I'm going to read it to you so you can hear about the jury members. The first seated juror, who will be the foreperson on Trump's jury, is a man originally from Ireland. He works in sales and has some college education. He is married but doesn't have kids. He reads the New York Times and Daily Mail and watches some Fox News and MSNBC. Very diverse guy here with his. Isn't it funny how they just like market the mainstream media outlets that lie to us every day? This guy gets his information by listening to us. Juror 2 is an investment banker who has a master's degree. He lives with his wife and does not have any kids. They have to let you know no one has any kids. This is all part of their agenda. Again, 1968, the year of years, the book, the population bomb was written, 201 pages. Plans to make it so that population growth rapidly slows. Now at age where more and more people don't have any children. He follows Trump's Truth Social posts as well as Michael Cohen on X, formerly known as Twitter. He said he's followed Trump since he became president and seen quotes from Trump's book, The Art of the Deal. Juror 3 is a corporate lawyer originally from Oregon. He gets his news from the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and Google. He's a younger man who's never been married and doesn't have kids. Juror 4 is a security engineer who is married and has 3 kids. He has a high school diploma, no social media, and reads a smattering of news organizations named in the questionnaire. Juror 5 is a young black woman who teaches English in a public charter school system. She has a master's degree in education, is not married, and doesn't have any kids. There's something curious about it being Juror 5, but we'll save it for another time if you don't already know. Juror 6 is, the point is just the first person they have to mention is black, is Juror 5. It's a long story. Juror 6 is a software engineer at a large broadcast company who recently graduated from college. She voiced no strong feelings about Trump, is not married, has no kids, and currently lives with 3 roommates in Chelsea. The juror gets her news from the New York Times, Google, Facebook, and TikTok. Well, I can tell you at least the first 3 of those 4 lists are all completely Jesuit-controlled and always have been. Juror 7 is a civil litigator who is, and again, think about what it means to just get your information from nothing but Jesuit-controlled sources. Understand what mind control is, how this is happening. Juror 7 is a civil litigator who is married with 2 kids and lives on the Upper East Side in Manhattan. Originally from North Carolina, he reads the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, and Washington Post. He said he has political views as to the Trump presidency and that he thinks there were likely Trump administration policies policies he disagreed with. Juror 8 is a retired wealth manager who is married with 2 kids. The man's hobbies include fly fishing and yoga. Juror 9 is a speech therapist with a master's degree. She's not married and lives alone. Juror 10 works for an e-commerce company and says he doesn't really follow the news. He does, however, listen to podcasts on behavioral psychology. He was born and raised in Ohio, is unmarried, and lives with another adult. He says he loves to spend time outdoors and with animals. Juror 11, here, keep in mind we're in New York, the 11th state, the master number. Juror 11 was seated on the jury after Judge Juan Merchant denied, by the way, Juan Merchant equals 45, to go with number 45, denied Trump's challenge to remove her for cause. So Juror 11 was seated on the jury after Judge Juan Merchant denied Trump's challenge to remove her for cause. Trump's lawyers argued she would be dismissed because she said she does not like Trump's persona. The juror works for a multinational apparel company, is not a native New Yorker, is not married, and doesn't have kids. She doesn't really follow the news, but occasionally follows headlines and reads industry-specific publications. The final juror seated on the main panel is a physical therapist. She has a doctorate degree and reads the New York Times, USA Today, and CNN, and no mention of kids there either, but they didn't say she doesn't have kids. But just an overwhelming thing of they don't have any kids. They don't have any kids. America, you don't have any kids. Thus the open borders, because those ones down south, they know how to make a family fast. Meanwhile, the first impaneled alternate juror is an analyst for an asset managed company who grew up in England. She lives with her boyfriend. She reads the Wall Street Journal and New York Times. Again, I mean, it's like, okay. And this is the kind of information you turn on the TV. I mean, they'll spend 20 minutes just talking about that. And it's like, how does this information help me improve my position in the world? I need information that shows me just how bad I am getting taken. How bad am I getting taken by this political theater? How much money is being spent to maintain this corrupt system and this political theater and this obvious sworn secrecy? And once upon a time, the nation was founded by a bunch of members of secret societies. How many people are still instrumental in the government that are members of these secret societies that do keep secrets and do benefit, while the rest of us are just caught up in the show? Okay, this Tony Soprano thing. It's on the right side of the screen. It's right under the story of co-founder of the Allman Brothers Band dies. Right under it says video surfaces showing Tony Soprano living in witness protection. 201 long. And notice, I should take this off the screen to help out here. But I did appreciate that observation from Neo the Hacker. That was very interesting. The 201 story on the screen. Tony Soprano, again, this show was on HBO, founded by a Jesuit. Look it up if you doubt it. It's all facts. James Gandolfini died on King James's birthday. The Jesuits tried to kill King James. So James Gandolfini dies while vacationing in Italy on the real King James's birthday, 99 days after we get the first Jesuit pope. And 99, the Sopranos came out in 99. Sopranos equals 99. If you run it the other way, the Sopranos, instead of equaling 99, equals 117 like The Godfather. Again, Francis Ford Coppola's wife just died 117 days after the Pope's birthday. The Pope's 87, like she's 87. But notice that from the Pope's birthday to her death, 117 days, The Godfather. Remember, the Catholic Church is 87, like Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits. You just saw the Rothschild banker die, synced up with the Pope, 71 days after the Pope's birthday, went Catholic, 71. That Rothschild who died at 87, his own name 87, the name of his bank 87. In the case of the HBO, home box office equals 54 and 72, like Jesuit order. Pope Francis became the first Jesuit pope on the 72nd day of the year. James Gandolfini dead 99 days later. HBO's 56, like Society of Jesus. Home box office has the acronym connection. And by the way, HBO's also got that 25 going back to the Pope. HBO's 25 as well. We were talking about that earlier with the death of Simon at 25. But yeah, if you guys want to check out a channel today, I mean, I highly recommend everybody watch this video. It's a great decode of Aleister Crowley, 418, popular culture, everything from modern day TV shows having to do with Aleister Crowley back to Ozzy Osbourne and his song Mr. Crowley. Um, Zenith, if I had a criticism, I always feel like a lot of times his video, he could start at a more simple place to make the first connection and then build on the gematria. Um, but yeah, if you just pay attention and watch the video, it's very good. And some points of the beginning, you might think like, "Oh, I'm getting overwhelmed." Just stick with it and watch. There's a lot of just if you can only take away one thing in the video, just pay attention to the pattern of 418, which is on the cover of Crowley's book. And I got to ask Crow 777 when I go on May 3rd why he asked me to interview on April 18th initially. I told him I couldn't because it was my dad's birthday, but I couldn't get my dad to want to do anything today. He just wanted to relax. So yeah, check out this video, Zenith of the Alpha. The video is titled Crowley Number Magic, Magic with the K, because that's what Crowley wrote a book about, Magic with the K. Zenith of the Alpha, like Zenith, the old TV brand, Zenith. And just, also another criticism of Zenith. Zenith is always making very interesting connections, but at the same time, I just wish more people in the community would also make some more pointed observations about who's doing this, unless they really feel as their own person that they don't know who's doing this, and it's just that part's the mystery. But I don't think it's a mystery at this point. I think there should be more mention of who's making all of this happen. And if you guys missed the stream I did earlier, just a real quick recap of the flooding in Dubai, the worst of its kind in 75 years of recording. There's a lot to say about this, but in light of all things being synced up with the Pope and the Jesuit history, the flooding that began April 16th was 121 days before the Jesuit birthday, August 15th, which is the day in history that the first act of weather warfare was admitted to, the Lynmouth flood, which killed people in the UK. As the United Kingdom. This is the United Arab Emirates, but 121 days prior. And also, it was 121 days after the Pope's birthday, and United Arab Emirates is 121. Notice, Pope, flood, earth, Enlil. Again, Enlil's the Babylonian god of flooding. You see how all these words are 52. The first act of weather warfare admitted to in 52. This ritual sync with the Pope. This crazy flood. Pope's also 11. 121 has a square root of 11. 11's the master number. The 75 years, this was the headline everywhere on the 17th day of April because the flooding happened April 16th and went into April 17th. So we were getting everywhere on April 17th. This worse than 75 years. These are big numbers with the New World Order. 174, like 17/4 date, 17th day of fourth month. 75. Order out of chaos. We just talked about the Francis Scott Key Bridge coming down 75 days after Francis Scott Key's death anniversary. And also 128 days before his upcoming birthday anniversary when bridge collapse is 128. And they said it collapsed at 128 in the morning. And we've seen bridge collapse 128 rituals that we've documented well before this Francis Scott Key thing. But 75 was big in that. The order out of chaos. It's about creating the problem to provide the solution because that solution can make somebody more powerful, more wealthy, both. Again, this destruction will require bank loans, which will make certain people money. There are certain contractors that will come in to do the repairs. They'll make money from this. People will lose money. Other people will gain. That is the game. And again, if you missed the earlier video, I was just talking about Lyndon Johnson talking about weather control and who controls the weather controls the world and how he made his remarks at a Jesuit school, Holy Cross, where Anthony Fauci went, who was part of the Event 201 simulation, but how, again, his remarks came June 10th, 201 days after JFK's assassination. JFK gave his speech September 25th, 1961 about the future of weather control. And then 201 days after his assassination, Lyndon Johnson talking about who controls the weather controls the world at a Jesuit university. When weather control and the Jesuit order are overlapping 3 out of the 4 ciphers. 177, 201, 69. Lyndon Johnson out of office in 69. And again, June 10th, which can be written 10/6. Typically, April 16th is the 106th day of the year. Prophecy Authority 106, when they remember the flooding, the crazy flooding in Dubai on April 16th. In most years, it'll be the 106th day of the year. Whereas this year in a leap year, it was the 107th, and military's 107, and that's how they're doing it. Same way they were talking about it back then, how the military had this technology, programs they were working on. But yeah, there's even more to this, and why it matters that Israel's 75 at the time of this crazy flooding, and why this headline from the New York Times that all those jurors read said New World Order pledged to Jews on 10/6/1940 at 8 was 75 numerology. And what we were talking about the other day with this obscure song from the gangster rapper Corrupt, that's more like a prophetic telling of the world we're living in right this moment. It's like, wait a minute, how did he end up doing this song? No wonder it was put out on 10/6. How many of these lyrics were written by his record company? If you missed when I played that song the other day, go back and listen. Next thing you know, you're having this crazy flood on. And it's, anyway, the point is, this stuff's not an accident, you guys. Predictive programming's a real thing. Planned weather's a real thing. Planned world domination's a real thing. Again, it's 60 years since Lyndon Johnson made those remarks about who controls the weather controls the world. Order is 64 is 75 in reverse. 121 and 49 are revelation numbers. Revelation, prophecy, destruction. Again, they began record keeping in 49. Revelation, 121, 49. Remember what they did with those numbers with COVID and the old 666? Pandemic declared 666 days after the first simulation, Cladex, which had that 49 in it as well. All right, I do got to wrap it up though, True Seeker. I got to get dinner going over here. And shout out to Jeremy Dorsett. Thank you very much for your generosity. It says, with Trump-Biden rematch set in stone, it will give us a clue for what the 2028 matchup will be. Nikki Haley versus Ivanka Trump. Remember, The Simpsons have the episode of Ivanka running for president in 2028. It's the year she turns 47. Trump equals 47. So does president, White House, government authority, Republican, Democrat, D.C. So it remains to be seen. Do they really have Ivanka Trump running at age 47 in 2028? Everyone will be like, The Simpsons did it again. Nikki Haley, she's still young. Yeah, you never know. Cross that bridge later. We got 2024 to keep exposing for now. So appreciate the generosity, though. Thank you, Jeremy. All right, you guys, we will leave it there. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share and who supports the work. And thank you for everyone who tries to spread this work to their friends and family and neighbors. Yeah, indeed. Simpson alone is 33. Like what they just did to OJ with the tee off of the Masters. Yeah, we just talked about what they did with Candace Owens and her firing by the numbers and how that was a tribute to the synagogue of Satan in Revelation. What's 666 days after the nuclear warning? The one that they did in New York? I forget. Let's go back to that. I think we saw that the other day and I already forgot. Nuclear warning, New York. Did they do that on July 11th? Was it July 11th? It was July 11th. July 11th, 2022. The day George Tenet left office as the head of the CIA, when that was all synced. Again, World Trade Center equals 247. The World Trade Centers came down 247 weeks after George Tenet became the head of the CIA, and then he left office. And right now, the country and the Illuminati are both 247, and they're saying this is Israel's 9/11. But are you saying May 7th is 6 days later? Yeah, May 7th, 600. Yeah, and that is the 128th day of the leap year, in light of how 128 was all over that bridge collapse. And it was after the 47th birthday of the bridge. And Beast is 47. They had to tell you the water was 47 degrees. Beast in time, 47. May 7th can be written 7/5. It's a week. There'll be 7 days left of Israel being 75 years old. Yeah, that's very interesting. It's very interesting. May 7th, 666 days after the nuclear emergency alert preparedness thing. Remember, New York and Sumerian gematria is 666. With the alphabetic order, New York's 111. Sumerian gematria is just multiplying the alphabetic order times 6, so it's 111 times 6, 666. September 11th left 111 days left in the year. Donald Trump, Mr. New York, running on mega, the highest degree of the Church of Satan. Market crash equals 247. House of Cards. Yeah, let me see. Market crash. Well, maybe in another cipher. Um, here, Derek has a number of ciphers on his website. I just want to see where it might be 247. I'm not seeing anywhere that it's 247. But like I just said, it is a relevant number, and we've talked about it a lot in the time the country's in 247, and World Trade Center is no doubt 247. And it did come down to, again, you guys look at it one more time. I mean, this right here is like a children's book, just needs to be written the right way about what really happened to the World Trade Center. Came down 185 days after Osama bin Laden's birthday. When you spell out September 11th as a word, it equals 77, like World Trade Center. But Flight 77 was a big part of September 11th, hitting the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian, 77 minutes after taking off. United States equals 77, like secret society. The nation's capital on the 77th meridian, known as the Masonic City, goes in with how everything for 9/11 went into motion 33 years earlier. Big Masonry, number 33. But 247 weeks after Tenet took office, it happened. And you know what's crazy, guys? How the Twin Towers became 0 before they became 1 World Trade Center, 201. Somebody just left a comment today. So whoever left that comment, will you leave it again? Because I want to make sure I was trying to find where that comment was. I saw somebody left it. Now I lost it, but I want to take a screenshot of it and put it in a post. I had to double check, but the Spice Girls song "Both Into One," which is also the Georgetown motto, it came out exactly 247 weeks before 9/11. And you see the World Trade Centers in the music video for that song. And that song came out at the same time as George Tenet taking office. But World Trade Center also 94. The word terror is 94. The World Trade Center is open on the 94th day of 1973, the anniversary of MLK's assassination in 68, the year that World Trade Center construction began, and 911 was made the code. And remember, Roman Catholic Church is 94, and that number was huge with COVID, which was synced with 9/11. These major world events to shift the world. World events. 9/11 and the wars after. World events. COVID. World event. Shaping world trade. Trump was at the World Economic Forum the day COVID was confirmed in the U.S., gloating about his trade deal with China and how world trade will never be the same. Mega, highest degree, Church of Satan, deceivers, egomaniacs. I mean, I don't know how people can't see it. So, yeah, of course, terror equals 68 the other way, like 94. Absolutely. Yeah, we thought the Rangers game, the 11-9 would happen today. No doubt about it after they won the 119th World Series on Bush's 119th day of his age. Indeed. Yeah. All right, but yeah, I do got to get off dinner. Got to make that dinner. So, all right, guys. Thanks again for everyone who's liking the share. Try to eat healthy. Try to get enough rest. And again, an ounce of preparation is worth a pound of cure. In case anything really crazy is happening in the world anytime soon. I mean, May 7th, man, that's crazy. Let's hope nothing goes down May 7th. But if it did go down May 7th, do you have some stuff to prepare for emergency? You got water, you got non-perishable food, you got emergency supplies, something to protect yourself if people start acting wild. They've been trying to program society to act wild like it's just again watching this agenda unfold. You just know the day they pull the rug out, they can make things ugly real fast. May 7th, 666 days after that preparedness. I hope it's nothing. Hopefully it'll be nothing. But again, if something did go down, do you have a plan? Do you have some supplies? Could make all the difference in your world. And indeed, have no fear. A million percent. Don't live in fear. Just live in awareness. Okay? Crazy things have happened in the world before. These psychopaths have been in control for a while. They've pulled out the rugs on some places before. Could it happen where I am? Am I prepared if they do that? That's not fear. But you also got to live your life. But at the same time, in case you're living your life and something crazy happens, you're ready for the moment. All right. Yeah, we will leave it there. Till next time, Truth Seeker.